Today's appointment of Taoiseach is the greatest Punch Judy show in Ireland. Maybe describing it as a horror show would be better. Today highlights the degree to which our democratic process has been hijacked. Even our constitution has been cast aside. Our state is controlled by what are essentially private member clubs. And we, the people, are ruled over and blocked from exercising our sovereign rights ourselves. But anyone who understands our history should not be surprised with this. The very foundation of the state was drenched in the blood of patriots, so no good could follow that. This month in 1923, anti-republic forces, organised, armed and trained and financed by England, executed 25 Republican soldiers who were already prisoners of the so-called Free State. This was even more than had been executed following the proclamation of the Irish Republic in 1916. We started out as a people betrayed. We have continued on that path since. However, a small advance was made in 1937 when we, the people, gave to ourselves a constitution. The constitution sets out the fundamental rights of the people and is the basis of state authority. The constitution is to protect and guarantee our rights, independent of what the parties or Dáil might decide. That is good, but our hopes were subverted and the ruling elite continues to dictate today. Today's drama began even before the general election of November 29th. Here is how. First, please note a very important point. There is no mention of the words political party in our constitution. No mention at all. Yet, we have electoral laws that give preferences to these parties. The nomination of non-party election candidates is deliberately more difficult to discourage or in fact block them. Political parties have even allowed to advertise on ballot papers. Others are not. Our state directly funds these parties with over 20 million cash of public money every year. SIPO, the Standards and Public Office Commission, operates different rules of reporting for political party candidates than they do for independent ones. But, looking at our Constitution again, in Article 16(2)(1, the Constitution says, and I quote, Dáil Éireann shall be composed of members who represent constituencies determined by law. Close the quote. That's what it says Dáil is supposed to be, representing constituencies. But we don't get that. We get party representation or individuals representing themselves as something distinct or separate from the representation of constituency. In addition to party-biased electoral laws, they have also adopted standing orders or rules in Dáil Éireann that create inequality between different TDs based on what private member club they happen to be a member of. They have imposed a greater or lesser ability on TDs to represent their constituents based on membership of these private clubs. Our Constitution states that all authority derives from the people. It says that the final decision regarding the policy of our state is belonging to the citizens. But our representation has been hijacked by these private clubs in a charade of mockery of the democratic process. Here is the farce today. When the new Dáil assembled, the first order of business was to elect a chairperson or Cadhla. No problem there. There were nominations made and they used a secret ballot using PRSTV, that is a proportional representation, single transferable voting system. And with that, a result was guaranteed. There would be an elected Cadhla, and it happened. No problem at all. There was no need for weeks of delay, no need for backroom meetings between the private clubs. However, When it comes to deciding who is Taoiseach, the Dáil uses a different method of voting entirely, requiring just a simple majority to nominate the Taoiseach. So the Dáil adjourned before Christmas, and the only reason was to facilitate backroom discussions between different parties, that is, backroom discussions between the private clubs that rule over our country. A deal was reached, some of it was published, some of it is based on nods and winks. That is how secret deals are made. So today we get a new Taoiseach. He will appoint a government which is supposed to be answerable to the Dáil. That is the end of that particular phase of the manipulation. Now, there is much to do about the question of opposition. Some TDs are complaining that a technical group which has helped to form government are also demanding speaking time as if they were opposition. Needless to say, the non-government parties are complaining about this. But what is this concept of opposition? Isn't that just another denial of the rights of the citizens to be represented in their constituencies? Our constitution provides for TDs to represent constituencies. It doesn't ask for anyone to be opposition to anything. If our TDs did their duty as per the Bunreacht, there would be no talk of opposition or toleration of private clubs manipulating votes. Neither would we use the party whip system. That would not be allowed. The use of a whip is a direct measure to instruct TDs on how to vote, and is therefore a denial of their duty to represent constituencies. There should be no opposition, just a Dáil full of TDs representing their constituencies as best they can. We need to remove all vested interests from politics in Ireland. Only the people should be represented. We need democratic renewal. It is time for us to act. Let's move beyond describing the problems we face and build an actual movement for change. The Glór Alliance, Voice of the People, will be launching a campaign this coming March to break the system of rule by political parties. We invite others to join with us. We invite others to do likewise themselves. But we welcome any collaboration in that effort. This is Diarmaid Cadhla, editor of the People's Paper, reporting these comments from Glór. I'm outside Leinster House, where you can see the machinations are going on. The drama is playing out, and it will do the Irish people no good. Let's build change. Let's sit down, have the conscious planning and work for change and bring an end to all this manipulation and abuse of the people, because it's costing us dearly. Sin tuairis gan lei uing anu, gur míle maithagah. Slán as Stock Lion.